Yeah, your microphone's whack, dude. I can see you perfectly.
Looks like you wrote something in the chat.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Mike.
How about now?
No, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I
Okay.
can hear you.
No, there you go.
But you can hear me?
Yeah, now you can hear you. Yeah. we can hear you. Yeah, I probably turned the volume. It's on red now. That's way. But can you hear? Say something.
Hello?
Say it louder.
Hello?
Okay, we got you. You're good.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I don't know what happened.
It's all right. Okay, so do we have any discussion on this? Anybody? Anybody have any anecdotes or something happened? You were ever sexually harassed? Hopefully you're not dumb enough to cop to that. But really, it's a serious thing. You know, it happens. Men get harassed too, but generally it's the other way around. It's no fun for females. So don't do it, okay? It's not a good thing. It's basically a bad thing. So we're gonna, okay, so this, I'm gonna get to the syllabus in a minute. But to back up, I haven't taught this class before.
I've got a quick question
Ooh.
about sexual harassment.
Or,
In contract work and this type of work that we do, sometimes you'll jokingly make comments to each other. You should probably stay away from that too, right?
well, if you ask that question of the person that's doing that required seminar, then you have to, the players have to do it. They're going to tell you unequivocally, yeah, you should not. But really, you know, it's your buddies, and, you know, so yeah, I think, you know, risque talk and dirty jokes and stuff like that amongst guys where nobody, see, the whole thing is whether somebody's feels bad about
If they're
it. If they don't like it, they're offended.
But if you're on the same page,
If you're on the same page, then it's not sexual, it's not harassment.
right?
So I remember one of those first trainings I went to, I said, well, you know, they were talking about different scenarios. I said, well, what if I was to say to a woman, boy, those are really nice shoes that you're wearing. And he said, well, you know, just be better off not saying it. I said, well, what if I said I wanted to eat your shoes? But I mean, all these presenters just say, it's just better to just keep your mouth shut, which is really, you know, I'm married. I've been married 3 times for a total of almost 40 years, all 3 of them. 12 years with this wife now, 3rd time last, best last. Best one I say for last. And biggest mistake that I consistently make is not to keep my just shut up, Rod. Just shut up, man. Like, it's just like sip it. You don't need to offer your opinion.
There's a good acronym for that.
What's that?
Wait. Why am I talking?
Oh my God, I love that. Like Hulk, hungry, angry, lonely, tired. I can't believe I've never heard that. Oh, that's so great. Thanks. Okay, so I know I keep harping about Patrick taught this class, and I will get up to my speed on this. Patrick didn't use a textbook, so I have a lot of information from Pat, and you'll see when we get to the syllabus and the schedule, there'll be a lot of homework inserts and stuff like that. That's not happening. So I'll be tweaking the schedule when I show it to you right now. And any of you have seen it on Zoom, because I think I probably seen it. I'll be tweaking that schedule to be more germane for what we're doing. Because we're going to talk about whole numbers, some really simple stuff like addition, subtraction, multiplication, things like that. But I want to read this guy's preface. I picked this book because I was really intrigued by it. I think I was intrigued as much by anything as by his preface. Math for carpentry and construction. Here's the beauty, I think. Math for carpentry and construction was developed to bridge the abstract principles taught in academic math to the real world problems a carpenter must solve in the construction trades. With today's emphasis on standardized testing in education, this book was developed as a tool to help you become proficient in accurately performing trade-related mathematical problems. After 16 years of working in residential, modular, and commercial construction, I entered secondary education with the goal of teaching high school students the trade of carpentry and construction. I'm shocked at how many students could not measure or apply basic mathematical concepts to construction trade problems. I quickly realized that before I could properly teach my trade, I first needed to raise the competency level of mathematics concepts and then apply that to construction principles. With over 20 years of experience in the classroom laying solid foundation of applied math concepts, I could assemble those principles of math for carpentry construction. Help instructors lay that same solid math foundation in their classrooms. Based on my observation and experience, academic mathematics instruction has been driven by a culture of standardized testing. Because of this, students are not always learning the concepts necessary to be successful in the trade career, only the skills necessary to pass the standardized test. Often, while teaching the concept, students have already covered in math class. I can see that moment when things begin to make sense because I have shown them how to apply it in a trade application. Math for carpentry and construction is developed first and foremost for the purpose of teaching you the skills necessary to make those connections so you will be proficient in the construction trades. This ensures that the student will be prepared for national and trade certification exams and a successful career in the construction trades. All the problems in math for carpentry and construction can be performed with the use of a calculator because it is my belief that every student should know how to work the problem without a calculator. Every concept has been explained step by step so you can learn the concepts and process to complete any problem you will face in the field by hand. A calculator will give you the right answer, but you will not develop an understanding of how that answer was achieved. This is so important. This will not help you the day you need to perform the math and do not have an electronic device. Picture the day you don't have your phone on you. But you know what? Maybe you work for someone that says, no, you can't have your phone because you know people don't keep their noses out of the phones. You don't have to come up with it without using your phone to calculate on your phone. This will not help you the day you move out of that. Math for carpentry and construction is the best tool on the market today. Okay, thanks, Richard. Appreciate it. So if we go back to home, you can see that I published the first, published them all. Yes. Oh, no. Okay. The ones I have checked, I've checked 1 through 5. This section. Yeah, 1 through 5. So if you guys want to get on Canvas, 1 through 5 right now is available to you. And I'll open more as we keep going. So you can read this stuff on Canvas if you don't want to get the book. Let's just jump back to this course schedule. I'm going to jump around a little bit. So if you click on this course schedule, that, by the way, is Pebble Beach. That's the 18th. That's walking up the 18th fairway. Just I held my camera right over that picture. And out in the bay, which you don't see in that picture, was a pot of humpbacks and a pot of orcas. They were visible on the 17th, from the 17th tee. So tonight is week 1. It's August 26th. We're doing an introduction, and then we're going to talk a little bit about whole numbers, fractions, decimals, measurements, percentages, and right angles. Just those are the math concepts that we're going to be learning the next 16 weeks. Next Thursday is September 2nd, and we'll dive into whole numbers, basic principles, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, unless we get through some of that right now. But then you see as we go along here, we got measuring, layout. I may refer to some notes of Pat's and keep that in there, or I may tie it all to the book. I just haven't decided. So you just check in the day of. But remember, I'm not asking you to do homework, but I will ask you to read. So I won't ask you to turn in any homework, but I'll ask you to familiarize yourself with chapters before you go to class. Okay, so I would like you to read section 1. So under reading due, try to have section 1 read by next week. It should be fairly easy reading. It's the simplest part. Now, if some of you have are deficient in your math skills and you don't feel like your math skills are up to snuff and you don't understand how to add, subtract, and find fractions, you don't understand decimals so much, long division, all that stuff. Okay, see me, just talk to me, see if I can give you some pointers, get you closer up to speed. In the meantime, I'm going to assume everybody knows most of the simple stuff, but we're going to go over it anyway. Go over the whole cha-cha. Before we do, again, you can see homework handout. That's none of that's going to really happen. I may stick with the subject if I can tie it to the book. I may not, but these will get more germane or more. They'll be more tied to what we're actually doing as the weeks go along and I have more time to spend on campus. So let's look at the syllabus. So well, let's look at student view for a second. So you are all going to be able to see that. You're going to be able to. Right, so you can get into the online textbook right now all the way through. You'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see the Zoom link, see the syllabus. Go to, no, actually, let's go back to that. I unlocked that. Oh, I did. I unlocked that.
Yeah, try to hit publish.
Yeah, it's that track. Number 2, 3, 4. I wanted to get you through 5, dividing of whole numbers. Yeah, so as far as I wanted you to go right now. So let's go to the syllabus. According to Jeff Barnes, my FRC guru, which is Faculty Resource Center, I should have this in here, not have to click on it as a Word doc, but here is my Word doc. So if you want to bring up syllabus and print it out, you'll have a bunch of good information. You'll know when we're meeting, what the start date, end date is, and that doesn't coincide. School started on the 23rd, which is Monday, and it ends on the 11th, which is Saturday. And our classes start on the 20th. Usually the 26th. I'll admit that. And then our last class is the 9th. We will be, by the way, having our final on the days that they want us to have. We used to do the final in the class before the last class, so we could review the final. You guys could all see that. But what I found was about half the class came to class. Because you figure once you take the final, why go to class? So I would prefer you came to every class. So we do the final one. College would like me to do the final, which is that last week. So we're going to, anyway, there's the textbook. If you want to buy it, it's going to be available online for you for Canvas. That's how I grade. So it's simple grade. I grade on 100 points. There's 100 points available. There may be some extra credit. I may give individual extra credit if I want to work you for some, if I need my lawn mowed, something like that. Just kidding. I won't do that. But there may be some opportunities for extra credit. But right now we're working on a scale of 100, so there's 100 plus. It's broken into 5 20-pointers. 5 20% of 100. The 2 tests, the midterm exam, which is 50 questions, 2 points per question with 100. And the final, also another 50 question test. Those 2 are worth, respectively, 20% of your grade. Now, the other 60% of your grade, no, I should back up because I use the prefaces with anybody here want to do a pass fail. Everybody sign up for pass fail? Okay, so that means everybody here wants a grade. Raise your hand if you want an A. All right, that's kind of a no-brainer, right? So I'm gonna assume that you want an A, that you all want good grades, and I want to give you good grades, and I need you to do a few things for me, for you to get good grades. So the tests will demonstrate to me how adept you are in answering those questions, finding the answers. If you don't have them in your head, I'm going to give you opportunities to find the answers. I don't expect you to memorize and have all this stuff in your head. I want you to be able to find answers to. So that's only 40 points of 100. So that's a dead fail. So the other 60% is really simple. It's attendance, participation, and attitude. Right now, everybody here is 100% on attendance, 100% on attitude, and 100% on participation. Every one of you, when I pointed to you, you participated. I have eye contact with every single one of you. So I'm gauging your attitude. It's all at the top of the scale. And you're here. So the truth is I can't know how your attitude is, and you can't participate if you're not here. So being here, like life, is half the battle. Man. Just showing up. Just show up, right? Just show up. So I asked for the commitment on Tuesday. I'd like to get a commitment from you all. Well, can I get a commitment from everybody? Show of hands that you'll commit to me, that you'll do everything in your power to show up. Okay, so I got a commitment from everybody here, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Now, if an emergency comes up, which they can and they will and they do, and if you've got to work late, especially work emergencies, do not take care of work. That's your livelihood. That's how you feed your family. Take care of work. Emergencies come up. You can get an excused absence rather than a U, which is an unexcused absence, by simply texting me, calling me, or emailing me. Now, if it's going to be an emergency that's coming up to, there's an accident, highway shut down, something that's within a couple of hours, the email is probably not going to work. So text me or call me. That's why I put my phone number. Didn't put it in there. So I'm gonna tweak that. Get started right. Get my phone number up there. That's what it's to be. But I also wrote it up there. So just let me know. And if you just let me know, you're golden. You're fine. Is it?
Yeah. Your email.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Pat didn't have his number there. So yeah, just text me or call me. That's fine. Just let me know what's happening, and then I won't worry about you, and you'll get an excused absence. And really, I'll buy almost any excuse, really, but try to make it semi-believable, and not like, well, it's my girlfriend's birthday, and I promised. It's like, that's not a good excuse, by the way. You knew your girlfriend, unless she's been your girlfriend since this morning, you knew it was her birthday for a long time, and you knew her birthday was going to fall on a Tuesday. So you could have asked me way back when, or Thursday, in this case, Thursday, hey, my girlfriend's birthday, and I would have told you right then, it's all right, come to class. Celebrate your girlfriend's birthday before 6 or after 8. Simple stuff. I am committed to you to come in. I don't come here because I need the money. I come here because this is what I said I would do. So I'm committed to coming here and engaging with you, and I expect nothing less from you. I'm not asking for anything that I don't deserve. So just come, and if you can't come, just communicate. Okay, don't ghost me, please. It's disrespectful, right? And I will, and also, if I start launching into tirades, that you all don't deserve, but maybe one or two of you does, and it's bugging you, and you feel disrespected by me, because I can be sarcastic. I use humor in everything, but if it's bugging you, then please, I'm approachable. Come and see me after. Send me an email or text. Say, hey, you said something today that really bugged me. Let's get it flat. Because this is how I operate. Communication solves all problems between human beings. Undelivered communications poison relationships. So we have a relationship, and it's based on communication. I'm communicating to you, I expect you to communicate with me. when I ask you to communicate, or communicate, through the test or however, but it's a back and forth communication thing. And if you have a problem, or if I have a problem with you, we can solve that problem by communicating with each other respectfully, kindly, politely, all that stuff. And it gets worked out. There isn't anything, human interactions, that can't be worked out. In my world. So let's just keep the communication up. Let's talk to each other. Let me know what's happening if you can't make it. Here, be here. And right now, I am stoked. This is a great class. And I've seen a lot of classes, and some classes I've been less stoked than others. I'm telling you right now, this is a high level class. You are all really high functioning, and you're functioning now. You're all functioning now, and our full-time student is functioning. I stumbled through my life. I did not have a plan. I was high functioning in my life, but I had no plan. And it turned out, anyway, it turned out really well for me. But as I look back, with the perspective I have now, God, if I had only had a plan, how much more could I have done? Because in the universe, we manifest. We're magical. We're magical beings. So I'll just touch on this right now. I will touch on it again at a different time, and I'll write it down. I'll maybe bring the book. But this book that we talked about, that D'Angelo has read, it's called The Four Agreements by a man named Miguel Ruiz. It's a very small book. It's a paperback, $4.77 on Amazon. Paperback, but the four agreements are: be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make any assumptions, and do the best you can, whatever you do. Try to do the best you can, whatever you do. Those are the four agreements. You make those with yourself and the world. The thing about being impeccable with your word is words have power. Words are magic, and we can do white magic, good magic. We can do black magic. Talking shit about somebody, that's black magic. Gossiping, that's black magic. And it is. We're powerful beings. We're not to get too far out, but I believe we're created in the image of this all-powerful higher power, which I have no idea what it is. I just know it's bigger than me. And then I am so cool as a human being with what I have and what my body does. And I got this pump. It starts at birth and it runs for 100 years. It's unbelievable. But there's something even bigger than me. And, I want to tap into that all the time. And I can. I can do it. And I do it a lot. And one of the ways I do it is I don't drink. I haven't drank for 31 years. 31 years without a drink. And I don't just not drink. I try to stay connected to that thing I was talking about. That has given me a life like I can't even go on to tell you about it. But it makes me feel connected all the time. And but when I'm connected to me, I'm connected to you too. That's how it works. And you will get a lot of my personality because I can. And I'm perfectly suited for this job. And then I also want you to know that I am my personality, just like you are your personality. That's who you are. How you come across, your personality, that's who you are. That's what you are. You're your personality. So if you are an asshole, that's your personality. You're responsible for that. And I can be an asshole. I don't think I'm an asshole at heart, but I try to self-correct all the time. I want to stay connected, and I want to do white magic. I want to be impeccable with my word. I do not want to take anything personally because everybody's got their own stuff going on, and they're not trying to put it on me. I don't want to make assumptions about anything that you say or do. If I am making assumptions, what I need to do is I need to come and ask you to explain this thing I'm assuming, so I can really get the straight story. And I'm going to just do the best I can do. I'm going to try and do the best I can do. Those four agreements that I've made with myself and the universe and you all, they have served me. I don't always remember, but I sure as heck don't do it perfectly. So If you want to get a good grade, show up. Because really, if you showed up with a good attitude and you participated, you got a D. You passed. You got a D. Right there. If you didn't take the 2 tests, if you came and just didn't take them, but you were here, you got 60%, you got a D. You passed. Now, I took a seminar in service day. Last Thursday, we had faculty in service day all day long. So, Zoom, it was Zoom. And, we got a whole lot of information about what's going on with the college and the president. And we got to take individual workshops. We all have to have flex hours. We have to have continuing education. So many hours. That's on the class you teach. That's one way to get them. Because I dig it. Because I love these workshops. And one of them was on ungrading. And the whole principle of this ungrading concept is that the idea of grades puts a lot of stress on the student to grade. And that if you get like your initial quiz, you get a D or an F because you weren't prepared or didn't understand something, or for whatever reason, that's kind of stress can keep you from even coming back. It just kind of wash all that juice that you had to learn. So I don't want to do that to you ever. I don't want to quash that beautiful spirit you all have, that openness to absorb and learn all this stuff. There's so much stuff to learn. I'm not so much teaching you. I don't believe I'm going to be teaching you. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be presenting information. It's totally up to you if you're going to learn. I can't make you learn it. I can't force you to learn it. I can test your learning, but really, I'm not going to test your memorization skills. There will be questions you'll be able to answer. There will be questions you're going to need to find the answer. There'll be a book. There'll be places to get. So, yeah, show up 60%. So, if you get 50% on both your tests, that's 10 points each, that's 20 points. You now just got a B minus. If you show up every day, every class, eyes front, the attitude you all are presenting right now, and on both of my tests, you fail miserably and miss 25 out of 50 questions, you will get a B. Now, how's that for a good deal? It's a dang good deal, so really show up. And if you show up, I guarantee you'll probably do better than 50%. So I do pluses and minuses on grades too, and that's how I do it. So here's the course description. Introduction to measuring and calculating in residential wood construction, designed by students who've already taken, designed for, not by, designed for students who've already taken CT 110. So we might be jumping the gun because some of you just taken CT 110, but we can't, timing sometimes doesn't work out perfectly, or who have some prior experience in carpentry and construction. That's pretty much most of you. Topics include working with common and decimal fractions, using the standard tape measure, using a calculator for construction, estimating material, understanding the special triangles, using the roof rafter calculations, rafter length calculation, and stairs further calculation. So, disclaimer right now. I have completely forgotten how to cut a roof. I'm going to have to relearn how to cut a roof. Fortunately for me and you, I have not forgotten how to cut stairs. So I'm a pretty good stair cutter. And I promise that when we get to cutting rafters, I'll be up to speed. Or else I'll have a hot shot frame or subcontractors. And me too. So, and as a typical general contractor, if I don't know how to do it, I'm going to find somebody that can do it well. So here's our course objectives. By the end of this course, the successful student will be able to read, write, communicate carpenter's common fractions. Can you give me an example? What are carpenter's common fractions? Eighths, fourths. Yeah. So let's go actually for reals, 16ths, eighths, halves. So 16th, 1/16th, 1/8, 3/16ths. Right? Those are the common. Rarely will you get into 30 seconds as a carpenter. As a cabinet maker, I get into even higher tolerances of 30 seconds, even 64 thousandths. As a cabinet maker, As a carpenter, working to a 16th is going to be good enough. For some of you, it won't be good enough because you're going to want to go to one side of the line or another. A 7mm pencil line is about almost a 16th. So you can be one side or the other of that line. I like to work with a lot of precision. So we will work to 16ths, but we'll just explore 32nd and 64s when we start learning how to work with fractions, add, subtract, multiply. So perform basic arithmetic operations on common fractions, identify common, mixed, and proper decimal fractions, common fractions, mixed fractions, improper fractions, and decimal fractions. Convert common fractions to decimals and vice versa. Perform basic decimal operations on a calculator. Read, record measurements using a tape measure, layout with standard stud joists and rafter spacing. Know the basic dimensions of commercial lumber and plywood, sketch a basic wall system and rafter system, estimate material for a simple structure, recognize similar and right triangles, understand basic perimeter area and volume using Pythagorean theorem, find rafter lengths, calculate a typical common rafter length, draw a simple roof system, plate rafter ridge, understand what a roof slope is, use the rafter tables on the left, framing square, sketch a typical stair system, floor string, tread, rise, platform, calculate stair, unit rise, unit run, opening dimensions, lay out stair string. Wow, that's a lot. That all? Is that it? No, there's more. No more on the course objectives. But, who knows what the basic dimension of sheet plywood is? 4 by 8, right? What's the basic dimension of a sheet of particle board? Or melamine or MDF? Dylan? Who's my finished cut? Who's my finished cut?
Roll. You have the finish gun?
Yeah. Okay, so you know what particle board is, right? Okay, so there's solid stock, which is lumber, which is dimension lumber, board store lumber, 2x4s, 2x8s, 2x10s. There's cabinet grade lumber, cherry, birch, maple, oak, all those guys. Those are also sized, called out differently. And then there's sheet goods. Sheet goods are plywoods, and the veneer cord plywoods, particle board cord plywoods, MDF cord, not plywoods, but there's different cores with different veneers for sheet goods, like cabinet grade sheet goods. And sheet goods are generally 4 by 8, 4 by 10, 4 by 12 come in. But having been said, melamines, which is a low pressure vinyl on one or two sides of a particle board core, MDF, medium density fiberboard, HDF, high density fiberboard, those all come 49 by 97. Not 48 by 96. 4 by 8 is 48 inches by 96 inches. They don't come then. Because these sheet goods that I just rattled off to you, they are the sheet goods that are used in casework construction. Casework is cabinet. Casework are the boxes that form the cabinets, that have doors hanging on them, drawers, etc. The casework is made out of sheet goods. In sheet goods, most of the sheet goods that are for cabinet casework are 49 by 97. Can anyone tell me why? One person, come on. Okay. So who knows what a kerf is? I'm sorry.
I had an idea of the first question that you were asking. Because of any imperfections that the actual edges of the sheet could have due to all the transportation.
Well, that's a very good point. So you don't want to square up the edges. Yeah, that and hopefully you won't have to do that. Factory edges will be good, but factory edges should be cleaned up, but that's not why. Why is because of saw curves. So some of the cabinet building blocks, upper cabinets 12 inches deep, lower cabinets 24 inches deep. Can you get two 24-inch rips on a 48-inch sheet? No, you can't. You have to have room for the saw curve. You can get two 23 and 15 16ths rips. If you want two 24-inch rips, much less 4 12s, or 3/16, you can't do it. That's why they have made sheet goods that are used for casework, 49 by 97. The same goes of getting 248s or 424s. You can't get 4 24-inch cross cuts out of an 8-foot sheet. You have to have room for those 3 1/8-inch curves. So 97, you got the width. That's right. Yes,
And those are actual values, not nominal, right?
those are actual values. Okay, so here's the class rules. We'll just whip through the syllabus, then we'll get out of here. I'm going to keep you later. So, class rules. Make every attempt not to miss class. We've talked about that. Attendance counts. Please call me before class and you must miss, or text me. We've talked about that. Make every attempt not to be late or leave early. But if you're going to be late, let me know. If you're going to be 5 or 10 minutes late, just come. Let me know or not. If you're going to be much later than that, come anyway. Let me know, but just come. If you're going to be an hour late, come anyway. Okay? You'll get marked here. Don't blow it off. So, I'm going to be a half hour late. Come anyway. Okay? Do your homework. Read. Okay? Read. Review the class schedule so you can plan ahead. You must do the paperwork to drop the class. I'm not dropping you. You want to drop this class, you got to drop the class. Otherwise, you won't get joined up. And the time for dropping, what is it? Yeah, the last date to drop with a refund was September, so that's from Saturday. Okay, objective class rules. Class expectations. Participate in the discussions. Ask questions. Express opinions. Be involved. Call me. Arrange an office visit if you have any problems. I covered pretty much all this, right? I am the facilitator, not the supplier. Take responsibility for your own education. I love this. This is Pat all the way. You know, I don't know how many of you know Pat, but you know he's a PhD. He's an incredible carpenter. He knows everything there is. It just blows me away. It's really knowledgeable. He's just a great guy.
He's actually gonna stop teaching.
Yeah, he actually is.
You think this is it the last year for
This
sure?
is it, man.
Okay.
He's gone.
I don't believe it.
He's done. I know. But he retired once, right?
Yeah, I don't.
He
I don't
came
think
back,
he's
but
gonna do it.
yeah, I think, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But you're right. He probably won't come back.
You think for sure this is the last year?
Before
Before you guys get here.
or come back.
You know, anything could happen.
He told me that. I'm like, I don't think so.
So grading is based on homework, exams, quizzes, classroom attitude, attendance, and participation. Sans the homework, but do the reading, please. And I may throw a quiz out. So here's your SLOs. So how we monitor if you learned anything. Read, write, and communicate carpenter's common fractions. Successfully perform decimal problems on the calculator. Successfully use area and volume formulas to estimate project materials. We're going to do a lot about estimating, which is very important in construction. Very important. Calculate and lay out a common roof rafter and calculate and design typical stress. We're going to do all that. You're going to be proficient in that, I hope. And then here's my thing for DSPS. And I only got one DSPS. So I know who it is. Pardon me? That's for accommodations if you need longer to take a test. Yeah, you need to go through DSPS. And they'll send me a letter. But yeah, it's easy. Just contact them. Okay, so back out of the syllabus. So as you can see, the online textbook is available. If we look at the schedule. Where did I put the schedule?
Hey, Rodney, with estimating, you usually go like 10% over on materials.
Now that depends on what the material is.
Right.
At least 10.
At least 10.
Yeah, and it just depends on how much of an FU factor, which is a fuck up factor.
Right.
Because you will fuck it up. And if you don't, great, more power to you. So I usually use 15%.
15.
Minimum of 10, though, it depends. Depends on the material, how expensive is the material. You know, we'll talk about it, and I'll give you chapter and verse how I estimate.
We have been doing a lot for irrigation. It's kind of hard to gauge
It is, man.
for tubing.
It is. It is, and that's a whole separate set of things you're estimating.
Or fittings.
And fittings, yeah. And I'm sure somebody's, like studs, right? Studs are a foot a stud. But how is that? They're 16 centers. 16 inches is not a foot. Well, that takes into account the blocking, corners, right? You lose some on doorways and openings. You have to add some on doublers and openings as well, and on corners. So there's probably stuff like that for doing takeoffs for irrigation fittings too. We just don't know what they are yet. So
Or for like hardscape, like gravel and stuff.
yeah, now that we'll definitely do that. I just had to estimate getting rid of 100 yards of dirt, bringing in 60 yards of gravel. That's fun. It was fun too. John was involved in that. Why was I showing you this? Why was
He took the job, because he was telling me he was.
I did.
He could get.
Definitely took it. So what was I going to show you here? Damn it. So schedule. Okay. I know I was going to show you. Reading due, section 1. Okay. So let's go to home, which will bring up the book. All right. So section 1 is all of these things you can access. The basic principles of whole numbers, adding whole numbers, subtracting whole numbers, multiplying whole numbers, and dividing whole numbers. That is all section 1. You know what? It's actually yeah, section, okay, section 1. Those are the components of section 1. It's a fair amount, but you can skim it if you're pretty up on that. Some of this basic stuff, some stuff that's a little bit harder, but just read it, skim it, be familiar with it. We'll go over it next week. Do I have any questions? Questions at all? Yes.
What's that model?
That model is a house with a gable roof, and that other one is a house with hip roofs that was built, I forget how many classes ago, just to show stud layout, plates, double top plates, headers, framed to scale model. Use it in a framing class. Any other questions? Could you mind hitting the lights?
Ronnie, is there a certain calculator you want to get or anyone?
Use your phone. There are construction calculators. There are construction calculators. I don't have one, and I don't use one. I do a lot of stuff in my head. Is that a construction calculator? How much does that cost? And then what sorts of things does it do?
Fractions, which is.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, get one of those, but before you get one, I'll research them for you and see if I can find some for you, give you some options on them. But the idea of this class is to teach you how to deal with whole numbers, decimals, and fractions, and all the stuff we do with them, multiply, divide, add, subtract, on paper, without it. So you understand how this stuff happens. That's, if you get nothing, I hope I can give you some of that, because that will serve you, like I can't tell you, it'll serve you your whole life. Because you'll have a basis. It won't be like turning on a light switch. Okay, so when you turn on the light switch, how many people think it's magic? It's fucking magic. Come on, raise your hand. None of you know how that happens. You know, I mean, yeah, we can maybe describe, okay, there's a generating plant. You can talk about how electricity and the trunk lines and all that stuff. No. Electricity is magic.
Closing a circuit, right?
Yeah, exactly. Numbers are not magic. Numbers are totally real. and how we get to where we're going in quotients and adding and subtracting and combining fractions and all that stuff. I want you to really learn the concepts, the principles of doing math on a piece of paper. And then the calculator will just be that much faster. Okay? Okay, hey, see you next Thursday, man. Have a great weekend. It's been fantastic to meet all of you.
Thanks, Rod. Thanks, Rod.
Hey, Mike, I forgot you were there. Wait, let me say bye to you. I
That's all
gotta
good.
also, I gotta stop recording.